Harry Dresden from the Dresden Files is a cynical, hard-bitten detective straight out of a noir mystery, except he's also a wizard. It's a great series of books that just keeps getting better by Jim Butcher, and you should definitely go read it. One of the evil groups that Dresden has to contend with is a group called the Order of the Blackened Denarius. This is a group of mortals possessed by fallen angels with all sorts of creepy supernatural powers. These angels themselves come in 30 pieces of silver, famous ancient Roman coins attached to a particular act of betrayal. Yes, those 30 pieces of silver, the ones Judas received for betraying Jesus to the Sanhedrin. Anyway, Harry ends up owning one of these coins, which is a big problem because the moment you touch any of the coins, the fallen angel that's inside can get inside your head and start to corrupt you from within. So Harry ends up in this spiritual battle between himself and the fallen angel inside him, and he can't even tell anyone that he's touched the coin, because if he told them, they would probably assume that he was lost already. And this is a classic motif throughout literature, which echoes a concern found throughout human society, which is that we could accidentally or intentionally let something inside us that would defile us permanently. In the lectionary passage this week from the Gospel according to Mark, Jesus confronts the Pharisees, who are obsessed with matters of ritual purity. Things like hand washing and making sure you only eat ritually clean foods and only hang out with ritually clean people. Jesus sees this and he turns it upside down. He says it's not what goes in that defiles, but what comes out. It's not what you consume, but what you produce. And I think this really simple reversal of vector is enormously helpful for moral reasoning. It's not what goes in, it's what comes out. For example, some Christians at Duke University this week have refused to read Alison Bechdel's incredible graphic novel, Fun Home, because it has graphic depictions of nudity and sexuality in it. They've cut themselves off from an amazing work of art. So good. So good. So good. So good. Not only does this boycott not demonstrate their moral purity, it misses the morally relevant questions about sexuality, many of those questions which Fun Home actually addresses very well. Questions like, how do we deal with abuse? How do we recognize the full humanity of abusers? How do we negotiate sexual identity? How do we build loving relationships? How do we love ourselves when so many people in our lives fail to love us? Questions, in other words, that have to do with behavior and the consequences of our actions on others. It's what comes out, not what goes in. People have been looking for a correlation between the consumption of violent movies, violent video games, violent music, and violent behavior for decades, and still not found any. I'm not saying that what we consume has no influence on us. I'm saying it's the wrong place to start moral reflection. Guardians of moral purity obsess over what we allow in, and it's not only a distraction from moral issues that really matter, it also leads to damaging repression. It actually compounds the problem. The temperance movement was so convinced that consumption of alcohol itself was evil that they failed to see all the damage that prohibition was doing, all the while completely failing to actually prevent the consumption of alcohol anyway. Cultures that are sexually repressed don't have less pornography, they often have more. Pornography flourished during the Victorian era, and today, areas of our country that are more religious download pornography at a higher rate than areas that are less religious. Yet when pornography is discussed from a moral standpoint, it is almost always assumed that the consumption of pornography is morally deleterious to the consumer. Just allowing sexual images into your brain is thought to somehow defile a person. Here's a suggestion based on Jesus' insistence that it's not what goes in but what comes out that defiles a person. The effect that watching pornography has on your brain is not the morally relevant question. Morally significant questions regarding pornography include things like, do sex workers have adequate human rights? Do they have safe labor conditions? Adequate pay and benefits? Do they have access to public services like healthcare? Are they treated with dignity and respect by their society? Or to turn to the behavior of the consumer, are you hypocritically consuming pornography while stigmatizing sex work and judging others who do the same? Are you treating your sex partners like human beings with needs of their own, or are they just props to fulfill your own needs? It isn't what goes in, it's what comes out. It's not what you consume, it's what you produce. It isn't the songs that you don't listen to, the movies you boycott, the books you get banned from your kid's school library, the games which you never play, the food which you choose not to eat, or the crowd which you refuse to associate with, which will morally define you. It's how you treat people. The wizard Harry Dresden is so worried that the fallen angel that he's allowed into his mind will corrupt him that he never considers the opposite possibility. He never imagines that he might be able to redeem the fallen angel. Thanks for watching another Lectionary. I hope you liked it. If you did, you can click that like button down below. You can hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like these, or you can jump into the comments if you want to yell at me about how wrong I am, or share even better from your experience about sex and violence in the media and how that affects or doesn't affect your morality. It's by Jim Butcher. Jim Bitcher. I'm sure he'd love me to call him Bitcher.